This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk more about Dungeons & Dragons and the drama around Hasbro's new licensing agreement. Hasbro is pimping out D&D to a gambling company. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. So we're gonna talk about this because I have been saying for at least a year or two now that with Chris Cox in charge of Wizards of the Coast, and with him being so hot to monetize, all the Hasbro property digitally, and him crowing about the success of Monopoly Go and trying to push D&D into digital with the virtual tabletop, that eventually D&D is just going to be a crappy mobile app. And I think we're already there. I think we're there. This is on top of all the other issues with Dungeons & Dragons. Now they're going to turn it into a gambling app. I'm like, are you surprised? You shouldn't be surprised at all. This is what he wants. This is what the new CEO of Hasbro wants. He basically just wants IP he can license out to whoever will pay the most and make them the most money, right? Like, they don't even really have any interest in making toys anymore. And the toys they do make, I mean, to be honest, they wind up at Ollie's collecting dust. They gambled heavy on Disney and they got burnt on that, but they're outsourcing Power Rangers. They're outsourcing My Little Pony. How long until they just say, hey, we don't really want to make a board game, a tabletop game out of D&D or Magic or whatever. We don't want physical cards, right? D&D is not a board game, but to a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? We're talking physical games. So why don't we just outsource all that stuff to Paizo or outsource it to, Basic Fun or who else we have? Ravensburger. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll just outsource it. And then they'll just control the IP. And that's kind of what Konami's doing now. Like, I've been following the situation with Sega and how they said they weren't going to release any more retro consoles. And we don't know the status of all those retro games they announced a year or so ago, the updates, and they're pulling a lot of their games out of the Steam store. And I think they just want to be a rights holder, right? Like, they're just gonna pimp out their IP to whoever is willing to pay them. And I could totally see Hasbro doing that. I could. This is the mindset of the guy in charge of Hasbro who came from Microsoft. This is a very Microsoft move. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to clownfish-.com. Go out to clownfishtv.com. We're ramping the website back up again. Going to give it another go. Going to kind of come at it from a different angle and see what we can do. But man, I got to tell you, the gods of Google are against us these days. So we'll see how it goes. So this is coming from ICV2, and thank you to those of you who sent a link. I probably had a dozen people send this link over, but if you sent it, thank you. I did see it last night, but I didn't get a chance to do a video on it. So this is coming from ICV2. Hasbro signs D&D gambling license with Games Global. Hasbro and its Wizards of the Coast division have reached an agreement to license Dungeons & Dragons to internet gambling company Games Global for the creation of gambling games featuring the brand the company's announced. The first release under the license will be Dungeons & Dragons Tales of Riches from Neon Valley Studios in Q1 2025. Additional games are also planned as part of the collaboration. So it's coming out soon. It's coming out within the next couple of months. And that means that they've been working on this for a while. Could this have something to do with them laying a bunch of people off at Wizards? Did people object to it? Is this why they're going so hard in the paint on AI? You know what I'm saying? Like, he even said in the interview, Chris Cox said about Dungeons & Dragons having 50 years worth of content they can mine, that they're going to use AI more and more. Because they were already working on this. Were they working on this out the back door and people objected? I have no idea. I have no idea. It's so funny. They've got people like Jason Tondro that are all like, well, we don't want the racists and the bigots and the misogynists. We don't want them in our community, in our safe space, including the people who helped make the game on one hand. And then the other hand, it's like, yeah, we're just going to use like all kinds of AI, lie about it, treat the original creators of the game, all the contributors of the year. We're going to treat them like shit. And then we're going to create a gambling app. Oh yeah. And the OGL 1.1 thing. Let's not forget that. And the Pinkertons. I mean, seriously. Like, what the hell is going on? Additional games are also planned as part of the collaboration. Games Global will harness the world's greatest role-playing game to create immersive, high-engagement slot experiences, giving operators a chance to tap into global fan bases, the company said. So you're going to make slot machines. D&D licensing has been going far and wide lately, from internet gambling to vegan footwear. Vegan footwear? What the hell is vegan footwear? It's not leather? Isn't that most footwear now? What the hell is going on here? Okay, I gotta look at this. Vegan D&D footwear and accessories. This was just a couple days ago. The initial range, which dropped it Wednesday, consists of 8 D&D themed footwear pieces, including Glabagool Gelatinous Cube Wedge Mary Janes, and 3 accessory pieces. Ooze Gelatinous Cube Bag. Sounds like something you catch. Ah, baby, I can't tonight. I've got the Ooze Gelatinous Cube Bag thing going on. It's really pretty gross. Just, let me get some meds. Let me put some magic ointment on that, and I'll call you next week. Other pieces include Draco Scale Chunky Stomper Boots, Uncanny Dodge Rogue Military Boots, Psy Black Mary Jane Saving Throw Edition, Dungeon Dice Mystic Charm Trainers, Tira Mary Jane Shoes, Shape Changer Edition, Song of Rest Bard Flats, Lot of Monsters Trident Platform Boots, and Deception Mimic Bag. I almost read that as Decepticon Mini Bag. I gotta look at this. This is D&D, people. This is where we're at. What the hell? This is right up there with the dresses and the purses and the Okay, all right, whatever. Geek brands have been using gambling in the past. They had Marvel and Star Wars, which ended in 2013, and Lord of the Rings, slot machines. So this is look, I think where we're going to go with this is eventually D&D is just going to become, like I said, a shitty mobile app. It's going to be a gamified gambling mobile app. You're going to pay to play. You're going to play virtual tabletop. They're going to have AI dungeon masters, AI players. If you think that can't happen, it's already happening on Facebook and Instagram. It's actually pretty freaking weird that they're creating fake people now and I've got an article coming on clownfishtv.com about that. But the community, the loving community they've been courting for years, they're not having it. And we're going to talk about pinball machine here too. But I'm going to talk about this first. Then we're going to get to the pinball machine, because I actually like the pinball machine, but I don't like that it's based on modern D&D. I really would have preferred retro D&D for the 50th anniversary, but whatever. This come from EN World. EN World, Hasbro enters gambling deal using Dungeons & Dragons intellectual property. It's like, do they have a scandal every other month now? I mean, seriously, what is it going to take for people to just say, hey, Watsy, it's not for me anymore. I'm going to homebrew or Paizo or something. Pretty sure this is aimed at exploiting teens. Teens and gambling mix like nitro and glycerin. Lots of damage. Another person says, I think this is making mountains out of molehills, though. They said slot machines have been around for a while. It's capitalism, no different than a Star Wars refrigerator or Beyonce branded perfume. Neon Valley Studios, these are not slot machines on brick-and-mortar locations where teens are not allowed to enter. Oh, that's interesting. So they're not. Wait. They're not slot machines on brick-and-mortar locations. So it's a slot app. Hasbro's a licensing company above all. Yes, thank you very much, T. Quinn. You are correct. That's what they are now. There's something to be said about the rising ubiquity of gambling in American society, particularly sports. Maybe this is just another indication of that, but this deal is not outside the norms of today. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, geez, every time I turn on Hulu or Roku or whatever, and whatever I'm watching on streaming, there's 10 casino app commercials. That's what it is. It's just nonstop casino apps. This person says, I guess it's just easier to let others take the risk and reap the royalties than take a chance and actually make your own products. Hasbro's out of that business. They've got Microsoft people running the show. They're even moving out of Rhode Island. They're basically Konami at this point. Konami like stopped making video games and they just make pachinko machines. And then they license out Castlevania or Contra to whoever wants to pay for it. Pretty much, right? Like it's kind of stupid, but then the flip side is the opportunity is there for a company like maybe Paizo to come along and say, hey, we want the D&D license. We want to make physical D&D books and games. Can we do that? And Hasbro will be like, yeah, sure. We don't care. We fired everybody anyway. Like we don't care. We don't care. And they might actually do better by it. A lot of times licensees will actually do better because, everything's riding on them appealing to the fans, right? Basic Fun is doing a really good job, I think, with a lot of their retro Hasbro lines because they know what the fans what they actually want. Bedrock Games says, is this generally going to be using D&D properties for gambling? Yeah, I'm pretty open-minded about things, but gambling is something I don't think D&D should be getting involved in at all. Bellin brings up that blind bag minis are pretty much in the same vein, right? I take it you've never bought a pack of minis. Yeah, I mean, it is and isn't. I understand. I understand the concerns people have. Man, this site is like old. It really is. It's like old message board, but that's okay. I don't mind. WotC gave away the D&D IP to the OGL people. They gave away a lot of money. New management moved in and said, hey, how about we make some money with the IP we own? That's that. That's what they're doing. But so they're doing shoes and they're doing gambling and everything else. And I'm sure if people weren't already having problems with D&D for whatever reason, now they're going to be like, oh my God. So how long until it's like, hey guys, we're introducing the Dungeons and Dragons tabletop game. Yeah, we know that you know Dungeons and Dragons from the gambling app. We know that you know Dungeons and Dragons from the mobile game. We know that you know Dungeons and Dragons from the gelatinous cube shoes. But now we're going to reintroduce the tabletop game that started it all. It's a niche vintage product. Yeah, just wait for the next season of Stranger Things, right? So let's talk about this pinball table. This is pretty cool. This just got announced. This is Dungeons and Dragons, the Tyrant's Eye official game trailer. They got the game trailer on here. But here's the thing. This is going to appeal to newer D&D fans. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if this is for the 50th anniversary, this one's not too bad. I guess they have a couple different flavors. Stern usually does like 2 or 3 versions of their tables. Said the arcade owner, but they do 2 or 3 versions of their tables, and they'll do like a standard edition. It's more like a home edition, and then they do the commercial edition, and they're not cheap. I mean, the cheapest table's like $8,000, and then go up to like $15,000-$20,000. Yeah, here we go. The Pro Edition's $6,000. The Premium is $96.99, and the Limited Edition is $12,999. So if you got $13,000. You can go buy yourself a really nice D&D table, but they're going to have Michael Dorn from Star Trek do the voiceover, I guess, and Matt Mercer, Laura Bailey, Marisha Ray from Critical Role. So they're going to Critical Role this thing. It's a beautiful looking table. Like I got to look at this. Let's take a look at this. I got to look at this. Like, I love Stern tables. It's pretty sweet. I mean, I'll take this over gambling. Oh, okay. So you scan your phone, you do your... Okay. Okay, it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not paying $13,000 for it, but it's actually pretty cool. I would prefer, if you're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary, that they would do it with classic D&D art, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, this isn't bad. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. I actually had a chance. I was window shopping a couple of months ago, and they had one of the classic D&D tables. It was completely refurbed, beautiful, and it was like $4,500. And I was very, very tempted. I'm like, man, that would look great in my garage. But yeah, I'm not spending $13,000 on this. Sorry. It's a beautiful table though. But yeah, just to wrap it up, just to remind you who's in charge of Hasbro, and they were talking about moving everything to Boston. Hasbro's licensed mobile game Monopoly Go earned $2 billion after its 2023 release. This is Chris Cox from Microsoft. Magic made record profits in recent years despite grumblings from players. Hasbro has also invested $1 billion into video game projects, which include the upcoming science fiction epic Exodus starring Matthew McConaughey. We have one of the best game portfolios in the world. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to monetize their IP. They are turning into Konami. I mean, it is what it is. We still have the old books. I mean, God, this is not Spelljammer. What the hell is this fruity shit? This is not Spelljammer. What's he have, a hamster on his shoulder? What the hell? Come on. And the people that actually worked on the TSR versions of these campaign worlds, when they re-released them, I think it was Dragonlance and Spelljammer, they did not inform them that they did it. I mean, they might not have a legal right to, but you'd think they'd have an ethical right to. They don't care. They're just like, yeah, we're going to mine IP. That's what we're doing. We're mining our IP catalog, our IP library, and it's just going to be window dressing for gambling and mobile apps. That's it. And shoes and shit. Right? I mean, D&D at this point, and it's always, I guess, kind of been the case, but it's going to be what you make it. And if you only want to use Hasbro products or Wizard products and you just want to play your own game your own way, now's a great time to start doing it because, they don't care. It's not about the game anymore. It's just maximum profits. Maximum profit, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. There we go. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.